We introduced to you Chris Brown, who in another life was a state representative and has decided, well, wait a minute, I got 4 years, 4 months coming up in the next term, so let me run for Public Service Commissioner. Good morning, Chris. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, you might need to speak up just a little bit there, but I can hear you.
Okay.
And we're getting the feedback, so if you want to turn that off. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. All right, how about now? All right, let's do this.
Any better?
That's it. Just go on and tell us exactly why you decided to run.
I'm a eighth-generation Mississippian and a small business owner, Christian conservative. I have kids here, so I wanted to defend the grid and make sure that our power generation and delivery is as reliable as possible and our rates is as reasonable as possible.
What do you think the major issues are?
I think a big part of it is people trying to change how power is generated that is more expensive and less reliable.
You still there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I did want to ask you this, though. One of the controversies we've had in the last time we were talking about this is that should companies that are regulated by the PSA, should they be allowed to maybe contribute to campaign contributions?
Absolutely not. If given them money, then they shouldn't be able to take money from them.
Is that happening now?
It is. I think it's happening all over the country, and especially Mississippi.
It is not prevalent in your race as far as you know?
Not for me. I'm not taking any money from anybody that we regulate in this campaign. A lot of people are taking money from solar, but the Public Service Commissioner has to approve any solar fields, so that's a direct benefit to the Public Service Commissioner if they receive money from those solar companies.
Chris, I got to tell you, that's a little disturbing. It really is, because then we want to know, was that whole project viable? Was it tainted? There's not a lot of separation between that and what goes in Washington, D.C., if that is the case, and somebody can drop quite a bit of money as far as a campaign, or in some PAC. But you say that is going on, and has been going on for a long time, I would imagine.
It definitely is, especially in my race. We had over $200,000 dropped to defeat me from dark money. So we don't know who all it's coming from, but we do know that there are Biden donors and definitely Democrats funding my opponent.
Wow. But you said this has been something that has been prevalent and a part of the PSC for quite a while then.
From my research, it has, that especially with solar and renewables, if you have to approve them going into the state and benefit them corporately, how can they give the Public Service Commissioner money directly and not influence them?
Well, it's a very good question. Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like it's some ethics have been abridged there, and the fact that none have shows that maybe we need to address this. Is that something that can be addressed by the state legislature, and why hasn't it been addressed in the past?
It's a good point. I think it's a recent thing with the renewables. So I do think the state legislature needs to look at this.
Yeah.
And I know that Michael Watson's looking at it, and the auditor and others to say, is this right and legal? Because it definitely doesn't pass the smell test.
When you go back, I mean, I'm just thinking a lot of things are flowing through my brain here. Right-of-way acquisitions, the broadband situation, all of these sweetheart deals here. If they roll over into a campaign contribution, I just think the people of the state of Mississippi would say, why in the hell hasn't the legislature done something about this a long time ago? That's just crazy. Now we want to know who are people who are running for public service commissioner or any other position, governor, lieutenant governor, dog catcher, have they benefacted from this? And should that be open and everybody know about it?
I think they should. So why does out-of-state special interest out of Delaware drop $200,000 in a public service commissioner race? They have a benefit somewhere. What's the payout, and what are they in? What are they in it for? Wow.
All right, let you. I'll let you have this in the last few seconds here, just to make your spiel why, and that's one good part right there. But exactly why people ought to vote for you coming up next Tuesday.
I'm a small businessman. I know I've signed the front of a check. I know what it is to be where the buck stops.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take my experience as a businessman and a legislator and a family man. I'm protecting the grid for the future because I have 5 children, 3 grandchildren here, and even my 97-year-old grandmother still lives in the district.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to keep her cool. Let me put it that way.
That's right. Yes, sir.
When we go back, we're talking about this, and the broadband thing is another thing. I didn't notice that Brandon Presley mentioned something about he brought broadband. I don't think that's a purview of the Public Service Commissioner, but that's just another one of these things that you hear. I can't hear you again. I'll see if you can.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
There we go. Go ahead.
Okay. So yes, sir, you're right. A lot of people claim credit for things that they didn't do themselves. The legislature, we have Beam now set up to help deliver broadband to rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
So politicians like to take credit for what other people do.
I've heard that somewhere. Absolutely have. Your final thoughts, sir?
I just love if you want a true conservative and somebody that's not going to be bought by special interest, I ask for your vote, support, and most of all your prayers. Vote Chris Brown, Public Service Group.
Chris, thank you for taking the time, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Paul. Have a good day.
You got it.